Lewis is pinned.
All right, welcome everybody. I think I'm live. I know I'm live. I'm live here in my sanctuary in deep South Jersey. My name is Lewis Marks with Ropeadope, and we are back for the Ropeadope Music and Arts Festival. I think our third month of doing this. Every month we ask ourselves why, and then we talk to musicians who are consistently working and striving and creating art around the world, and so we know why we have to do this. So the Ropeadope Music and Arts Festival this month is going to be somewhat of a film festival of sorts. So we've picked some things from the Ropeadope catalog past, some great videos from Terrace Martin and Vivian Sessoms and a few others. We've also picked some new videos to premiere from artists who have releases coming out. And I want to mention that all of this centers around Bandcamp Day, which is tomorrow, starts at 3 a.m. East Coast time. That's midnight Pacific. And Bandcamp waives their fees for artists during this day. And if you haven't read about this, they're doing incredible things for musicians. And we as a label can say that sales are very strong. There's a lot more to do, so we need you to support. So in the process of this, if you see something that you like, go to Bandcamp. That's ropeadope.bandcamp.com. Look at the imprints at the top and also the main page and support artists. There's a lot of great perks there as well. And I just want to point out a couple of those real quick before we get started. During this time for tonight and tomorrow night, we're going to see early release of Rose Away EP, which is not due out until next Friday. It's going to be 24 hours for you to grab it, and then it's going to go away for another week. Dusky, Aidan Thorne in Wales, another surprise release as well. We're also going to have a single from Clifton Anderson, and he's going to join us tomorrow night. And there's a live album coming from Middle Blue and Brad Farberman in New York, and there's more. We'll be talking about it as we go. But first, I'd like to welcome my partner in shenanigans over at the Ropeadope Room, Mr. Fabian Brown. Fabian, how are you?
I'm trying to be shenanigan free here on this Thursday evening. Shenanigan free.
I have no such intent. But I want to state for the record that we are properly socially distanced.
We are.
So, Fabian, have I missed anything?
There's some things coming up that's consistently happening. I know Dekel Bohr has his shows that are out on our Ropeadope channel and other areas on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you did mention the Rose Away EP. Other than that, we have a phenomenal cast of musicians that are joining us here, artists that are joining us here from literally all around the globe that I'm really, really excited to get things rolling. We're just lucky and fortunate, Lewis, to be working with not only fantastic artists and musicians, they're great people. They're really genuinely great individuals, great people, like just people that you just want to hang out with. So I'm just excited all again just to be in this room virtually.
We are blessed. We are blessed. And so there was a wonderful project which really unfolded in its enormity and complexity and uniqueness, I'll say, that was started by Mr. Russell Kaplan in New York. It was called 9 Takes. 9 composers from around the world each wrote a song and then recorded a video version of all 9 tracks. And we've had this run. You can go back and check it for previous full episodes. But tonight we're going to, do the director's cut kind of thing. We're going to talk a little bit about the process, and we've picked some of the select pieces, track by track for each song. And if you have questions, pop them in the comments now. These are great folks to get together. So we're going to take it over to New York at the white piano. Mr. Russell Kaplan, welcome.
New Jersey if we're splitting hairs, but thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey too, so
Right?
this is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read a thing the other day that New Jersey ranked #1 in emotional and physical health in the United States.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, and it looked fairly legitimate,
Mm.
but we try not to tell people that.
Okay.
Will you introduce
take
the
it.
crew, or shall I continue the introductions and then pass you?
I'll pick that up. I love these guys.
Fantastic.
This is not the whole group, but a good subset here from. Just go clockwise according to my Zoom view. We from Australia, Alexander Flood, drummer percussionist extraordinaire. Residing in Italy, Lisa Marie Simmons. Also in Italy, Andrea Molinari. And in Wales,
Everyone.
In Wales, Aidan Thorne. And the members who are not presently here on the meeting with us are Eric Deutsch, who can be found in Mexico City, and Yasushi over in Japan, and God, there's
Padraig.
9 people. So
Padraig
and
Rin.
Padraig Rin in Ireland,
and Ernest Ikwanga.
and Ernest Ikwanga from Malawi and now in Switzerland.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So we've kind of we put everything together as one long video. It was an amazing moment of discovery, which I think hasn't fully unfolded yet. So and you've curated something for tonight.
Yeah, a bit. Which was hard to do. I think the nature of this project is, I think you summed it up pretty well as far as what we did. That we each wrote one song, which resulted in a collection of 9 tunes, and then we each recorded all of them with I'd say minimal to zero feedback from the composers about how they're meant to be played. We just had sheet music to go off, and to kind of it's a big ask of an audience for them to kind of take in the whole idea of the thing. You'd kind of have to watch all of it, and there's only so many hours in the day, like my dream, of course, is that everybody watches all of them and then they've seen 9 versions of all 9 songs and they can do this whole comparative study in their head.
Mm-hmm.
I realize not everybody may have had the time to do that, so a lot of people probably just saw 1, maybe 2 episodes and they heard some tunes that they liked. But as far as the many people interpreting the same song thing, some people might not have gotten that yet. And it might be time consuming to do so. So today and tomorrow, today especially, I just chose 2 of the tunes, somewhat at random, but that I thought it would be cool to hear little bits of different people's versions of the same song. Just so people can, just to draw attention to the interpretive element of this whole experiment and be able to compare things a little bit. So
I think with any great classic, it really feels like this. I'm not just throwing it out there. And I know the circumstances under which this music was created, was very challenging, right? But it will be reviewed and watched again and again. It's amazing how unique it is, and I think people will over time. One thing we're going to have to do here, because you're in North Jersey, we are in South Jersey. Fabian is about 10 feet from the tech person. Shout out to Nick Perry for holding this down. But if you're going to fade out of a track, so the way the streaming works is we have to queue up the entire video. So we didn't pre-select the fade point.
Okay.
To come back to conversation.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna, leave that responsibility with you.
Okay.
And I think what you'll have to do is send a message through to Fabian when you feel like, hey, I think we've got the sense of this song.
Okay.
Let's
I
go
can
back
handle
to
it.
conversation. Then Fabian, the audience can see Fabian wave to Nick, and then we'll come back in and chat. So
I'll
we're-
try. It's going to be hard for me to cut any of these performances off in the middle, but in the
Well,
interest
here,
in the
you
interest
know,
of time, I will.
well, we
watch
could
myself.
just run them, because here's another question. How are you hearing it? You're not, unless you're tuned into the stream.
Correct.
And there's a delay.
And there's
And there's a delay.
delay.
Shall we call it for the for Nick to call us back in?
I trust that. I think if we give everybody, I think there's the one brand new video which I know we want to play fully through since it's new.
Queued up at the end. Mhm.
Yeah. Everything up until then, I'm gonna say I think 2 minutes is gonna give us a good taste of everything, and then we can leave it to Nick to find a musical exit point after everybody's gotten 2 minutes. Does that sound?
That's great. Do
fair? Okay.
we have a thumbs up from Nick on that one?
We have 2 thumbs up from Nick.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. I doing these things over the last few months, it's just become much more casual. The other day I did the ongoing series with Shure microphones with Dekel Bohr, and when I came back in, power went out in the middle of the thing, and we booted back up, and strangely enough, the Zoom meeting stayed on, even though I was the host. So it was a little ghost in the machine kind of a day. And I literally was ready to just, sort of give up on all of this. And I got home and started to watch the debate. And for the first 30 seconds of the debate, there was no sound. So I said, oh, okay. If it happens to NBC, then it doesn't feel so bad for me. I would just like everybody to say hello before we go into the first track. Alexander Flood.
Hello.
Aiden Thorne in lockdown, so we hear.
Yeah, man, it's time is repeating itself again. It's back to March. So Russ, if you want to do round 2, I've got some tunes. I've learned to do stuff better as well. My bass has been repaired, so I'm in good stead. I'm just not allowed to leave the county.
Oh man.
Andrea, how's Rome?
Ciao. Hello to everyone.
All right, good to see you. And Lisa Marie Simmons in
Hi.
Florida.
Yes. Hello. Hello, everyone.
All right, so we're going to queue up the first, and I will check my notes here.
We're starting with some Beautiful Souls. Is that right?
Right. So Beautiful Soul. So whose composition is Beautiful Soul?
This is by Ernest Ikwanga, and it's by far, I would say, the most optimistic composition that resulted from this whole thing. So I just like it for that reason. I could use that now and then.
I remember someone saying it's the only one in major key.
It is, yeah. Everybody else went minor for this whole deal. But, yeah, it's just a very positive and reassuring composition, which I recall. Ernest unfortunately isn't here. I'm not going to speak for him, but I think I recall him saying that he found this one difficult to write, like that he kind of had to go through a lot emotionally before he kind of arrived at the happy enough place to compose this, and I'm so glad he did. And so I think the 3 versions that we're gonna watch are, what are they? I don't even remember what I chose. I just thought I went for diverse.
So we have Alex coming up, and then Andrea, and then Ernest.
Right.
We're gonna, for the sake of time, why don't we just have Nick run through those and
Sure.
segue when he feels good about it?
Yeah, and we'll talk about it.
And then we'll come back and chat.
Sounds good.
All right, so we got about 6 minutes.
Beautiful people, we see them through their hearts, waiting around you. You feed with joy, you never want them walk away. As your life is complete, you never want them leave you. As your life is complete, beautiful people, beautiful souls, beautiful people, beautiful souls. Beautiful people, we see them through their hearts, waiting around you. You feed with joy, you never want them leave you. As your life is complete, you never want them walk away. As it feels good, beautiful people, beautiful soul, beautiful people, beautiful soul. Hey ya mama, aya oh, la la le la ya ya oh, la la le la ya ya oh. Hey ya mama, aya oh, aya ya ya oh.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here in multiple locations and yet in one location. Just a quick refresher if you're just joining us. This is the Ropeadope Music and Arts Festival, or the Ropeadope Arts and Music Festival, depending on how you choose to title it on a given month. And we're running some wonderful video from Ropeadope artists, past, present, and future. And the first 45 minutes or so is a wonderful collection of artists who have created the 9 Takes Composer Project together, from the idea and guidance of Mr. Russ Kaplan in New York. 9 composers have created music during lockdown back in the spring and summer and recorded each other's songs without any direction or cues. And we are still unwrapping what that means and what it sounds like. It's been just such a wonderful process. And before I turn the mic over to Mr. Kaplan to explain, to talk about what we just listened to, I just want to say it's absolutely wonderful at these times to find people who are creating beautiful things and connect with them and talk with them on a regular basis. I cherish the time that we get together. And honestly, it's made isolation feel not like isolation at all. It's really wonderful to connect with all of you. We have in the room Aidan Thorne in Wales, Andrea Molinari in Rome, Lisa Marie Simmons in Lake Garda, Italy, Alexander Flood in Australia, and Mr. Russell Kaplan in New York. So Russ, let's talk about this song, Beautiful Soul.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just, like I said, I find it just a really positive and moving and life affirming composition, and it's just makes me happy and peaceful to listen to it, whatever version it may be. From like all 9 of them. They kind of all conveyed that. I'd kind of be interested in it, sort of turning it over more actually to the. I'm bummed that we don't have Ernest here, who wrote it, but we have the other 2 interpreters that we just watched here, and I'd be interested in your guys just sort of what led you into playing it the way you did. If it's anything like me, we all just sort of, when we were interpreting these tunes, we just read and reacted to them, probably just played them a bunch of times until the appropriate version for ourselves kind of came out that way. But I'm just wondering if like when you were working this up, like what you were thinking. Oh, you're muted, Lewis.
Let's start with Andrea, since he went the longest.
Yeah. Hey, it's a really hard question, Russ. I don't know. I think it's a great tune by Ernest, and of course, the first process was to read the score and try to figure out the music. And as I already said during my episode, I try to play all songs in both, like was a tune of mine, so trying to put what is my feeling and my way to see and feel music to every tune, but also to play the tunes like if I'm if I play in Ernest group, so if I'm a sideman, so try to respect the music, but also trying to put myself on the music. So this is exactly what I did with the Beautiful Soul.
Lisa? Oh boy. Keep the mics muted.
You didn't play our version of Beautiful Soul, I don't think.
Sorry.
No, it's Alex's.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's Alex.
Yeah. So for this tune, obviously the major sound and the positive sound of it, that sort of optimistic sound made me want to pick a synth sound, because obviously being a drummer, I arrange the backing tracks or arrange the arrangements within my computer and then played along with those. So I wanted to find a synth sound to start with and build the track based on that sound, and to find something that kind of sonically matched what the track or what the composition made me feel or how it made me feel. So I wanted something kind of textured and bouncy and light, because that's sort of the energy of the tune. And then I went pretty free with the arrangement. It wasn't super specific. I just kind of wanted to have, it was the end of the set, right? So I just kind of wanted to have fun over the tune, and there's a bit of a kind of drum thing at the end of that. So for me, it was just summing up the whole set, and with this kind of light, bouncy, positive vibe, and then making that a bit more open to the improvisation stuff. But really, the core of my arrangement came from starting with that synth sound, that main pad sound, and then building on top of that.
That's interesting. So you started with really like the tone of the voice of it, and then found the rest after that. I would have thought, just you being the drummer, I would have thought that you like found the groove, and then everything would come out of that.
I guess for this project, and a lot of the time, my stuff does maybe start with drums, obviously, but for this project, I found it worked better for me starting with the tracks themselves, and then seeing what kind of direction. And in my head, obviously, I'm already hearing things and working out what's going to work or what's going to feel natural to move to next. And then by the time you sit down with it on the drums, you've already heard it a million times, sort of while arranging it. So you've already internalized it, ready to play. So it was a really cool process. And this one, this one was a lot of fun to arrange and kind of build a track from.
Cool.
Beautiful. So now we're gonna jump in to a tune, "Lockdown," written by Eric Deutsch. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Russ?
this is written by Eric Deutsch, and I think we're hearing his clip first, if I'm not mistaken. And,
We are. We're going to start with Eric, and then we're going to move over to Tokyo for Ansala Saraka's version.
Right.
I have to say, when looking and editing and working with these videos, it took me a moment to. I'm not a musician, so I think a musician would have spotted it right away. But I was like, wait a minute, is that the same song? You know?
With Nasawa Saraka's tunes, that is not always the case for me. It takes me a second to, because he took some very radical departures with a lot of these, which are amazing. But
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna. So the third track, the third version of the song that you're gonna hear is Lisa Marie Simmons with Marco Cremasini performing "Lockdown" live sometime this summer. Lisa, a quick statement on how that happened?
Yeah, it was just a month and a half or so ago. It wasn't that long ago. And it's just we love all 9 of these songs. It was a great process, as everyone is saying. I have to say, Alexander, I was really fascinated with your process and your explanation of your process right now. But it was a really fun new way to work. And, some new collaborations have been born of it. And I really loved Lockdown, and it really lent itself to what we do already. So we wanted to try to do a live version that would be live up to I want to speak to you in Italian, would live up to what Eric intended.
Wonderful. So we're going to hear a little bit of 2 versions of Lockdown, one from Eric Deutsch and another from Ansala Saraka. And then we're going to go into this full live video from Lisa Marie Simmons of Lockdown performed this summer. And then we're going to come back and chat a little bit more. Mr. Brown?
All right, let's cue it up.
Is it horrible of me to be relieved at all this time at home? The reasons for it are terrifying. People are suffering. People are dying. Others are stuck in a toxic box that belies the name of home. Children are beat and hungry and broken, like the TV in the corner. Women tiptoeing around their men who beat them because they need to grow. Those men who know best, who suppress, who press, who mold them to their own idea of what is right, who cannot see but feel sure that their sight is cinematically visionary, who force those women to bow on their knees to their mastery, fight after fight after fight. Is it wrong of me to revel in this time alone with thoughts, days and days of time to let them unwind here in our house, our very, very, very fine house, that garden where I can lose myself in sweat and plants blooming hope, countryside above the lake where I can walk and ruminate, because here there's space to contemplate. No singing now, no dressing up my body, desperate to exude only positivity, creating the atmosphere to make sure this memory will be the one that sticks, that they can all look back on and feel as if they're rich. I am not that woman alone in her house who hasn't spoken or seen a soul in 20 days except through the cold, dispassionate computer screen. My partner is here as he always is, and it's not different for us to be 24/7. It's how it is and how we are. It ain't hard. We got a little money in the bank and we can create more without walking out the door. We are not stuck in a crowded city where we cannot go out, where the insidious, invisible ghost wafts along the streets and feeds on fear cloyingly near. Sirens that seem they'd never stop have faded, and now it's New York City's turn. How much worse would it be to live there now and hear them screaming every night after day after night after day? Is it horrible that I enjoy the pace? Nothing need be done. Everything I've always dreamed, the space, the time for creativity, not carved out in miserly bites, but a banquet, a feast, a glut bequeathed. The worry for when my next gig will be is eliminated almost totally. There are none to have, so that's easy to let go. I can sing for me, write for me, realize, explore, keyboard singing at me, fingers sore, no panic attacking, everything is slow. I sleep through the night despite the poking of plans that need planning at my brain. Omnipresent, self-imposed, grasping to succeed has gotten in the back seat. There's time that needs to be dedicated to earning, to online lessons, building up my presence on the same, but there are hours that remain. I'm in a cushy cocoon compared to the rest. I see it, I know it, but unless this ghost ever leaves, how can I allow myself tranquility? Grazie, thank you.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Lewis Marks here from Ropeadope at an undisclosed location, staying safe during COVID-19 times, and I hope you all are doing the same. While we have different physical locations, we have here one virtual location with some wonderful people in the room, and we just saw some great music from the Nine Takes Composer Project, and some of those composers are here on tap. And we're going to just say a quick hello in a moment, but I want to point out that tomorrow we have round two. So at 6 o'clock tomorrow, we're gonna have some other folks in the room from Tokyo and Ireland. I'm very much looking forward to Mr. Padraig Wren, who was unable to attend some of the earlier sessions, but will be able to be with us tomorrow. Nine Takes is a project put together by Russ Kaplan, a wonderful, wonderful project that, again, is still going to unfold over time. I want to tell people that a lot of this is about Bandcamp Day, and while we were not able to dissect 81 tracks and get them ready for Bandcamp in time for this Bandcamp Day, sometime over the next 30 days, we will have these songs available. And I urge you to go to ropeadope.bandcamp.com, follow us, and be ready for that announcement. And I also want to point out that Lisa Simmons with Notespeak has an album out with Ropeadope. Alexander Flood has an album out on Stretch Music, Christian Scott's label, through Ropeadope. Aidan Thorne has not only his Dusky record available through Ropeadope, but also at midnight tonight Eastern time, a surprise EP, which is an industry term that I'd like to throw away. A surprise musical adventure is coming your way from Aidan Thorne. Russ Kaplan has a record with Ropeadope as well, the Ulysses Cycle, an ambitious project right from the beginning. So Russ is no stranger to ambitious projects. I want to say thanks to all of you and just have a moment to say anything you like before we sign off on Nine Takes for Thursday. Raise your hand if you'd like to.
Well, as always, I'm happy to jump in and just thank you, Russ, again for this idea and for having us be a part of it. Marco's out at a gig right now. It's the only reason that he's not in this room. But I had hoped that he'd get back in time to say hey, but he's not back yet. And just, I'm so pleased to see all of you and look forward to doing this again. Unfortunately, tomorrow night I won't be able to be here, but I will be with you in spirit.
Let's move over to Andrea Molinari, who also has a record out with Ropeadope when he was doing his unraveling his earbuds dance. I neglected to mention that.
Yeah, Lewis, me too. I would like to thank Russ because he involved us in this crazy project and ambitious project. And during the lockdown was a kind of light for everyone. And so to try to compose, to create some music during this incredible and worst period was really a beautiful thing. And also to have the possibility of met such great musicians all over the world, and to feel part of this experiment and of the Ropeadope family was really incredible. So I would like to say thank you for this great opportunity.
Thank you,
Alexander. Russ, you want to reply as we wrap?
No, thank you guys, and I mean everybody for just giving it 110%, and it makes me feel good knowing that everybody who was so generous with their time and abilities also got something out of it. I mean, I know, like, I felt like it was something I needed to do, and think I was lucky enough to connect with other people who felt the same way at the same time. So great.
Thank you,
Alex,
thank you, Russ, for the opportunity and having us all involved, and thank you, Ropeadope, for helping make this happen as well. And it's been, for me personally, I found it a huge challenge, but a good challenge. I've learned so much through this process, and having to take charts, like PDF charts, and then turn them into arrangements, and then be able to play over them, and essentially somewhat produce some new tracks of material, which is not my own, but I get to sort of put my own spin on it. That was an opportunity that I've not had before, and it's been a whole lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again. So thanks heaps, guys.
Beautiful. And Aiden.
Volume 2, it's got to happen soon. Keep me sane, Russ. Make it. Say it. We can all do that together. Send a stem each. It'd be chaos, and then we can do it all again. Yeah, but I mean it seriously.
Beautiful. Maybe you should pass it around this time, each recording, and see where we go. Again, Aiden Thorne, surprise EP dropping tonight. I just thank you all for just bringing beautiful things to the world at a time when we need them. I've spent the last 6 months in quarantine, probably more strict than many, and I honestly have to say it has been one of the most beautiful times of my life, because I'm finding treasure where I was just walking by it before. So I want to speak to the audience for a second. Go and support these artists on Bandcamp. That's what this is all about. And come back and see us again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock for the 9 Takes group. We're getting the band back together. And now we roll to we're just going to chat here with Mr. Fabian Brown at the Ropeadope Room.
All right.
There's a wall of CDs behind you, and another wall of CDs across from you, and another wall of CDs across from that, and another wall of CDs and vinyl across from that. And I said to Ramsey Lewis the other day, as he was looking at it through Zoom, he said, well, where are you going to put the rest? And I said, well, we either have to build more shelves or drop some artists.
Ooh.
But I think we'll be building more shelves.
I thought so.
What do we have coming up? We're gonna jump into some fun here, right?
Yeah, we're moving forward with a little Martin attack, man. We have a little Terrace Martin coming up, presenting the Polyseeds. We have Sean Martin right behind that, and so many more things, man. Music from Chance Hayden. I'll just go right there. I don't want to lead too much ahead in the future, but we have some great music, some things from the past. I'm excited about some upcoming music from Sean Martin, but we're going to play some things from previous albums before for you guys to dig in and check out.
Yeah, I think we got a good 15-20 minutes here of time with some. I chose these because they're like some of the highlights of like Ropeadope YouTube moments, which isn't saying a lot, but these are the most popular videos on YouTube for Ropeadope, and as always, some really incredible songs. So we're gonna start it off with the Polyseeds.
Right.
Here we go.
Thanks, Nick.
Set your sights to higher, 'cause we fly.
Keep playing games and won't shine. No, 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 no. I can sense resentment somewhere in your tone. What is that? What is that? Heads in the clouds, no coming down. Please don't do things to mess up my mood. Up in a way. Up in a way. Up in a way. Up in a way. Up in a way.
wasn't real until I met you. What I felt the first time I'd ever met you. I used to stay up late listening to Mary Jane. Remember Curtis May got you in the mood, baby.
I remember the other day we had those Romalis that TD made with the greens and everything in them.
Mhm.
So this song, Bro Molly, is the whole concept is based off of the traditional tamale, you know, and the traditional tamale in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, blacks and Mexicans raise each other. So my cousin Chef Teely came with an idea that why don't we blend the tamale and soul food, and instead of putting, you know, the typical things in tamale, he put fried chicken, greens, black-eyed peas, yams, and everything in a tamale. And we decided to name it Bro Molly.
the always incomparable Terrace Martin, with a little bracket in there from the great Sean Martin. These are some classics that we've aired on YouTube over the years, and some important moments in the evolution of Ropeadope in the, I guess, what do you call these years? The teens, you know, the teens. After the aughts was the teens. And now we're in the roaring 20s. I wanted to include some things, you know, that people have enjoyed over the years, and some of the most popular. I think the Yellow Jacket, aside from some early Snarky Puppy videos, was the most popular video on YouTube. And it's funny to watch the comments in that, because they're like, this, why is this called Yellow Jacket? And you know, a lot of people miss the obvious reference. But after Sean Martin, we heard, or we saw, two amazing videos that were recorded just outside of London in, I want to say, New Buckingham University.
Okay.
And Brian Hurst, who runs soulandjazz.com, had invited Terrace Martin and crew, right? So it was Trevor Lawrence Jr., and gosh, you know, memory's not going to serve me right to name everybody there. But we were all gathered in London. I think the Polyseeds were doing a tour. And I flew over to London for the London Jazz Festival on Election Day, 2016. So I don't remember when I voted, probably by mail once. And I didn't throw it in the creek. And I landed in London on, you know, the Wednesday morning, London time. And I had never been to England, and I flew in and I saw the English countryside, and it reminded me so much of Tolkien. I'm going to change my camera here, guys. It seems to be glitching out, although that view was, I just looked so much better in that other view. Here it is, makeup off.
You look good in both views, Louis. Both views.
Thanks. I remember just getting my stuff. I was so excited just seeing the English countryside, and I was thinking about taking a trip up to where Tolkien wrote, and you know, all the things I was going to do in London. And somebody, you know, the guy in the seat next to me gets up and he goes, "Did you hear the news?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "He won." And my spirits went from like full on total optimism to like complete dread in a second. Nonetheless, had a great time in London. I found London to be just a kind of a perfect city, a whirling, bustling, moving. And I'm very familiar with New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, but London has this sort of way that everything worked, like all cultures were moving, and you know, the tube system was amazing. Everybody was just busy doing their thing. And you know, I didn't, aside from going to the locksmith to get a lock for my suitcase when I had to leave it to go up north, and the locksmith said to me, like, "It's so great, Trump won." It's, you know, aside from that, I saw none of the, you know, the things that I had kind of left behind. And it crossed my mind to like just not go back, you know. And in retrospect, sometimes your first instinct is the best. But we took a trip out to New Bucks U with Terrace and crew. Took the wrong train, finally got there, and they recorded, I think, just some perfect videos. And the reason they're perfect videos is not some magic. It's because Brian Hurst, soulandjazz.com, soulandjazz.tv, he is a meticulous purveyor and curator of quality. And so I'm gonna send people over there, and that's one of the reasons that I absolutely had to have those 2 videos aired on our channel, which is unique. So I urge people to go there. I think they said go to Soul and Jazz TV, quote, for more of the good stuff. So I'll leave it with that. Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
I want to say hello to Alexia Bumtempo and Alexi Glick. We're both in the room, both have records here with the Ropeadope. Hi, Alexia. And Alexi.
Hey, Lewis.
There we go. And of course, Brian O'Neill is still here with us. Where are we going next, Mr. Brown?
All right. Well, speaking of soul and jazz and Brian Hurst, we're going to listen to a track from Mr. Chance Hayden titled The Come Down, which you can find on Atlanta Records.
Spirit, one with all things, one with you. We both know that it's true. The moment is perfect. Now is the time. What were you saying? The feeling sublime. Is there a crack in the frame of my picture of you? Do I know what to do? I'm waiting on the come down. Elevated, baby. Thinking about the top is gonna make me crazy. I know I've gotta come down, but then again it feels right. What are the odds I'm gonna stay this high? Is the sun always shining? Is the moon always bright? Does the light come from day? Is day born from night? Are we bound together by this moment in time? Or is it all in my mind? I'm waiting on the come down. Elevated, baby. Thinking about the job is gonna make me crazy.
We've had a couple of records with Chance, and it's great to see him and not only keeping the groove, but just the progress and stepping it up. And like what I listened to some of that today before this program. It's like there's a certain sense of like coolness that's always been there, but also is like he's kind of up in the energies. It's like positive energy, bringing it to the world. So shout out to Chance. If you don't know Atlanta Records, it is an imprint, one of many imprints associated with Ropeadope. It's not Atlantic Records. It's Atlanta Records.
Atlanta.
So if you are in Atlanta and looking for a hip hop or rap, mumble rap deal, that's not going to be the place for you. So I'll say that experience. I want to talk about Ropeadope community. We talk about it a lot now with the wonderful group of people that have been participating and communicating and connecting. But in a certain sense, it's always been there. And, you know, my experience with Ropeadope goes all the way back to 2001, but not necessarily on the music side. And one of the earlier records that we put out, I don't want to say it was as early as 2001, maybe 2005 or 2004. Gennaro Jarrell, Philadelphia cat. Let me correct that. I believe from New York, but was hanging in Philadelphia at the time. And I met this guy, and you know, we talked, and then you know, the aughts happened, and things changed in the music business, and he changed. It was really interesting to watch what he did. So like, or maybe he didn't. I mean, some of the early recordings, 3-Piece Puzzle, and we're going to play something from 3-Piece Puzzle. You know, in the world of where hip hop and electronica or electronic music meet with a groove, like Gennaro was one of the pioneers in that, and he's gone on to work with so many. MF Doom is the most notable, right? JJ Doom. It's really testament to the kind of music that you lay down at a certain time may be particularly popular within a certain subset, but then over time you realize that this was a foundation. So Gennaro and I have communicated over the years, and unfortunately, you know, we did some things with the label with him. After his amazing Fauna record, we released some things under JJ Burton, Flora, and he became very interested in Brazilian music and not just in a sense of like a student, but in a sense of like, I'm interested in the jungle, right? And the sounds of the jungle, right? And if you go back and listen to Cahuita and some of the others, you'll hear it. But here's the thing. So I lost touch with Gennaro a few years back because he had a massive stroke. I heard about it from his partner, Indigo, who is a well-known actress. They did a fundraiser to help him get some medical assistance at the time. And I sent an email here and there, you know, how's JJ? Like, is everything okay? And I hadn't heard from them for a while, but I heard from them. I heard from Indigo recently, and a record that Gennaro had been working on is finally coming out. And while his stroke was serious, there is a sense of recovery. And the beautiful part is he's back in his home outside of the United States, which is very much appreciated this time, this time on planet Earth. So what I want to do is there's a track on 3-Piece Puzzle from way back, and this is just legendary music, like, and it was called Sunwalkers Part 1. And it was always my favorite track from that record. And I noticed on the new album, which comes out on October 30th via Far Out Recordings, that there's a track called Sunwalkers Part 2 and 3. And so what we're going to do is play Part 1 to give you a sense of the history, and then go into Part 2 and 3. But I also just like really want to recommend that people dig into some of the interesting work that Gennaro has. And again, just go to his Bandcamp page. And then for the lovely Alexia Bontempo, who's in the room, because my mind was in that space, we're going to air right after that your amazing video, I'm in Love Again, shot in Rio. Yeah. We got to mute. Yeah.
We'll have to check our audio when we cut the video.
You got it. But that's where we're going. Gennaro Jarrell 3-piece puzzle. Gennaro Jarrell unreleased track. It's here now. Check it out on October 30th on Far Out Recordings, and then into a beautiful video from Alexia Bontempo, and we'll come back and chat.
dancing spirit. I guess you must feel it. The birds of distraction, I'm a bag of metal that can't understand alone. I'll peel away your darkness if you can help me with my own. Teach me planting flowers. Teach me how to know my name. I'll protect your every bone with every break of my metal elbow. I'll tell you how I've been trained. Could you put a heart in me? Even if it's there only to be bled. Every red drop out until the vacant end.
following that, we heard from Greg Schutte with the track The Burning Page. And then we just rounded off with Bergman with his song titled Binky's Beam. And I'm just so fortunate to be surrounded by, again, some amazing musicians, throughout this Ropeadope festival. I just want to remind everyone that during these times, man, it's very important to continue to support for the things that we cherish. And one of those things, in my opinion, is the music and the arts. And Lewis put this phenomenal programming together here today to really just feature some things of the past and some things of the present, some things that were unreleased and some things that you may have heard before, in the past as well. I'm here with a fantastic crew of individuals, and I just want to welcome some of my fine friends in the room. And all the way from New York City, we have Mr. Alexi Glick. Alexi, how are you, sir?
Doing all right. How about yourself, Fabian?
We're making it happen.
Yeah.
And then right also in New York, we have Miss Alexia Bontempo. How are you?
Hello. Good to see everyone.
Excellent. And we have some other special guests in the room that will make an announcement here just in a second. And I see Lewis is back on camera as well. Lewis, can we talk maybe a little bit about Alexia while she's here and that stunning performance that she did?
We can. I would love nothing more. And I put that, as I mentioned earlier, it's a whole new world for me to be able to break down and understand the rhythms that come from a culture outside of what I'm accustomed to. But they're so compelling and so wonderful. Luscious is the word that comes to mind, of like the jungle, and and I tied together Gennaro Jarrell and his interest in that, which is really unique for an African American man to be kind of like digging back into that. And then for Alexia's piece, Alexia, I would want to know more about your story, about how that rhythm comes so naturally to you. Like how did you?
How just Brazilian music and just the style.
Is that just what you were raised in?
Yes. So my dad actually, I was born here in the States, but I moved to Brazil with my dad when I was 7 years old. And my dad used to be a concert promoter in a town called Petrópolis, which is just outside of Rio, just an hour outside in the mountains. And I kind of grew up behind the scenes, not just listening to great records at home, but also being able to see all of my heroes live, like Baden Powell, Caetano Veloso, Marisa Monte, Gilberto Gil, everyone that I listened to at home. I got to see them live as a child. So it was very, very inspiring. And I think it, just listening to, being exposed to such good music as a child really just helped shape, what I wanted to do. And it just comes so naturally, like you were saying. And, I'm not classically trained. I didn't go to music school. I studied for a little bit, like for a couple of years. And then I decided to move back to Brazil and start just writing my own stuff and make a record. So I never really finished music school, but I feel like I got a lot of it just in my childhood and growing up. So I was very fortunate to just be exposed to such a high quality of music.
Let me get to the heart of my curiosity here. I've traveled a little bit, and wherever I go, I find that Black American music seems to be prevalent, or in its many forms. And yet, when I look at music of Brazil, there's a different thread. Like, I mean, if you go to Paris, the person in the subway in the metro is playing an American song. I assume that if I go to Brazil, that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, Brazilian music is so incredibly rich because it's, we're just kind of like America in a way. We're this huge piece of land a big melting pot, and the music is it's a reflection of who we are as a people, as a culture, as a country. So, you know, if you go to the Northeast, you're going to listen to something that's going to be completely different than, you know, if you go to Rio. In Rio, it's like, you know, the land of bossa nova, and then you go to the Northeast and you're listening to the Northeastern rhythms that inspired folk hall music, and it's just like it's completely plural and just very different everywhere you go. And there's definitely an appreciation of American music and the music that comes from other parts of the world, but I think that we really do value what we make there in terms of art, music, and soccer, of course.
Of course. I just want to, I want to wrap that with just saying that, like, this is a unique culture, and I have been trying to learn Italian, side note, and I learned how many conjugations of verbs there are, and then I wanted to learn Portuguese and found that there were like up to 50 conjugations of a given verb. So
they're similar though. They're very similar. The pronunciation's very similar.
So a very wise man told me the other day, if you have any hope of learning Portuguese, learning to speak Portuguese fluently in this lifetime, just give up. But what I take from that is that there's a very unique culture that we have yet to understand and learn from, because the world is kind of homogenized, in my opinion, to English or American, especially in music. And so this really fascinates me, and I'd like to dig in more. Thank you for what you do. I think we need to move on to San Diego.
Thank you.
For time purposes here. David Whitman is the Energizer Bunny of the music business. He's constantly moving, and he's no stranger to challenge and difficulty. And yet,
boy, it's been a busy day.
He puts on a good face and a sense of humor in order to bring joy. I think I read on Twitter today, which has yet to be declared by a judge to not be real news, that you did some dozens of videos for your kids.
Oh man, yeah, you know. So I was in this unique position in the summer where I already had been really working on making videos and things like that. And, you know, so I thought I had the system down, but I think in trying to give not just an equal or acceptable educational experience to my students, trying to really leverage this online environment and really give them something like truly world class, I found myself making 13, 15 or more videos per night, per class session. And yeah, man, but I got it down to a system now where I can do that, you know, in like 2, 3, 4 hours. You know, it's all about planning, you know, as is life, right? In many ways.
Right.
Well, not in my case, but.
Well, sometimes, you know.
Great thought.
You got to have a plan, and you got to be ready to run away from it too. Sometimes no plan is the best way to go.
I'm an advocate of the John Lennon line that life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. So,
but yeah, I've definitely been investing a lot of time into my students lately, because I've seen a lot of students, you know, a lot of students and parents are you know, being very vocal about how difficult it is to learn right now. And as a teacher, I mean, I guess I haven't really expressed it to anybody. Or it hasn't really come up, but I feel like I'm in a position to do something directly about that for my personal students. So I've been investing a lot of time there. In fact, I think as soon as I'm done with you guys, I'll have 4 or 5 private lessons here, one-on-one, before I actually have to head to Phoenix.
Beautiful. So not to take up more of your time then, tell us briefly what we're about to watch. We've got 3 videos queued up with us.
Great. Yeah. So, you know, this is a trio, a little bit of an edgy trio. It's a guitar and a good friend of mine playing Nord keyboard, emulating a Hammond B3. Because it was during, of course, it's during the pandemic right now, and we do what we can. Hans Chamberlain is on piano, and Stephen Kamada is on guitar, and they're both really great friends of mine. But they never have met. They don't know each other, and this was the first time that we had ever played together.
Oh.
In fact, and then also the gentleman helping with some of the video that evening, and guy that I sent the audio off to really quick mix and master it, and help me do a little engineering that night. Also, they're both very great friends of mine. So we had this super cool vibe where, everybody was great friends, and we were all on the same page really about trying to do, we talked about it, trying to do justice to the great musicians that have come before us, and to really take what we were doing there seriously that night. So we reinterpreted 3 tunes from my Soulflow record. I was going to do something with John Raymond and Jared Gold and Francisco Torres, at the Ropeadope room there back in July, and we had to scratch that. So I was kind of just trying to, I wanted to make a video, reinterpreting the tunes from that record. So it might be nice for everybody to know that this is the very first time that these guys had ever played. We'd ever played together as a group, and also it's the very first take of each of these tunes. We did not do more than one take because we had this kid, an intern or a high school student, was from the school, Guajome Park Academy down here, was doing some videoing and had interviewed me for a project of his own, and he had to get back by a certain time for his parents. And so, it was like we just did one take of each tune. So that's what you're going to see.
All right, so we're going to thank you, David. I think we lost the video, but and I also want to say before we cue this up, you sound like you've got a lot to do. So we had this queued up for you to come back and chat afterwards. But if you feel like you need to move on and get done what you have to do, we'll see you tomorrow night, perhaps. Or
I think I'm good for 45 minutes, so I'll be here after.
Great. We'll see you.
There might be something to be said about the title of this trio. I called it High Fidelity, and I think what you're seeing here is definitely 3 people who have been back. We've all backed up a lot of other musicians, but you got 3 people here who are really trying to be true to themselves and the way that they play. And that's what fidelity is all about. And so I'm trying to be. There's a lot of avant-garde, if you will, techniques and things going on, but I'm still trying to phrase with my ride cymbal, and we weren't always thinking about who's soloing. It was more like maybe this person's forte and then these people are mezzo forte, and maybe we're having a conversation that way. But still, we were trying to really be rooted in the truth of the genre. So
beautiful.
Hope you enjoy it.
All right, let's cue it up, and we'll wait for an answer from.
All right, everybody. That's just some amazing stuff right there. David Whitman, High Fidelity. We first heard With Love, followed by the song Shuffle Blues, and we just completed the track Rear View, David Whitman and High Fidelity. And I'm so fortunate to be, when we were chatting offline, I'm in a room with some great, amazing people, some great thought leaders, and some just, funny people, man, some funny cats, man. We're having a good time, Thursday night with our drinks and beverages and our vices of choice, if you will, our vices of
Better
choice.
for me.
And I would be
No vices here.
I would be completely remiss if I didn't have an opportunity to talk with Mr. Alexi Glick from New York City. Alexi, maybe you could talk a little bit. I know you have a string of singles. You had two singles coming out, but we're doing how many in total? We're doing 4 in total. Is that correct?
So yeah, we have 2 that are completely done and have release dates, which are October 30th and November 13th. And then yeah, basically the plan is just to kind of keep recording singles that we're going to be putting on our first full length album. And then when hopefully COVID is over sooner than later, because we know we need to kind of really tour a lot when that first album is out. That's kind of the plan right now. So yeah, definitely have a few more singles that we're also working on, after these. Yeah. So that's correct.
Awesome. And in general, what's the theme? The past releases that you had with Ropeadope always seem to tie very nicely from one to the other. What would you call the theme of this string of
Oh
singles?
yeah, man. I mean, it's funny because in some ways, yeah, I mean, there definitely have been strong themes, and our first 2 releases, like the first, the EP was really kind of like, staying, true to, yourself and one's own journey, and, getting rid of all sort of the fakeness in your life and all, that was sort of the theme of that one. A Young Love then had sort of a theme of nostalgia.
Yep.
And then yeah, these next 2 releases really are kind of really just tied into current events. Like Breaking Point is actually the first like real protest song that we're going to be releasing. That's the one that's coming out on October 30th, right before Election Day. It's just about I mean, we're at a breaking point, and it's funny because I actually like started to write it even before the pandemic happened, but then I actually finished it during the pandemic. Just I just sense that there's just so much craziness going on in the world, unfortunately having the leaders that we do, currently. And then Fight or Flight was really also more subtly based on kind of current events, during actually, as we were talking, kind of earlier, we've all had a lot of time to think, and reassess during the last few months, because of the quarantine. And just for me, I just had thought about a lot of sort of the choices and decisions and that I've made throughout my life, and how for better or worse, that landed me where I am today. And it's kind of about how there's an underlying theme of sort of the values of hard work and kind of sticking to your guns. So sort of tying into, the first EP a little bit, but also, also recognizing, how difficult things are in some ways right now.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We're here back at the Ropeadope Room, live here in East Philadelphia. I'm with Mr. Lewis Marks. Lewis, maybe you can share a little, some things that the audience should be aware of how to support these guys, and how to how to be loving to our musicians and our artist friends in 2020.
Excellent serve. I will take that alley-oop. First, I will go with the slam dunk on Mr. David Whitman in San Diego. So here's the simple fact, and y'all know it if you're watching, and we know it here because we're closer. These cats are making beautiful things. They're working hard. This is the fabric. You can watch the news and you can think that the fabric is unraveling, but the fabric is not unraveling. The fabric is strong. People are making music. They are helping their community. I don't want to drag each of the individuals in the room and tell about the challenges that they've faced. I've heard them behind the scenes. They don't want to talk about them. They want to talk about positivity. They want to talk about moving forward. They want to talk about creating art. They want to talk about creating things that are great, that are moving us forward. This is not the back and forth that you're going to hear, in the mainstream, or in the whatever is happening out there. David Whitman is teaching. He is recording videos for his students on a regular basis. He is trying to contribute more to the community than he takes on a regular basis. And I profoundly respect that. And I think we all should, and we should all support that. Alexi Glick is doing the same thing. He's working to create new music. And just Fabian, you and I are the luckiest people on this planet because we get to connect. We get to hang with the cool kids. And when I say cool kids, I mean people who are the future, the people that are going to take us forward, the people that are going to make good things. And we all have it in us. And I just want to say to people who are watching, and who will watch this because it will be living online for now and forever, find a way to connect with the right people. And that's all we do over here, is just like, we're like, plug this into this, and we're just connecting you with people who are doing good things. And we heard from Russ Kaplan and from all around the world, people who are doing the same thing. It's the same mission. I don't fully understand it. But for some reason, when you decide to be a musician and you travel the world and you connect with other musicians, you commit yourself to a life that is more noble and more great. And I'm just lucky to be a part of it. And I just want to encourage people. I'll do the sales pitch. We'll run it down, but I want to encourage people to, your life is enriched by connecting with these people. So to close it out, this is the first day of the second day. I'm already done. It's the first day of the Ropeadope Music and Arts Festival, the October edition, and it's all around Bandcamp days. So all you have to do is drop into ropeadope.bandcamp.com. You can find recordings from Snack Cat. You can find recordings from David Whitman. You can find recordings from everybody who's on the show, from Deco Boer to Greg Shute at Ropeadope Sur, Ange Bergman, Alexia Bomtempo, Gennaro Jarrell, Chance Hayden. There's so much good music. Just pop in there, get a high quality download. That's part of the pitch, because we don't know how reliable the cloud actually is. And I could tell some stories, and I will tell them tomorrow about that. Save the music, help an artist, go to the places. That's my pitch.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, before we go out, again, thanks to everyone who joined us here this evening. Thanks for all of you who watched tonight live, and all of you guys who will watch later on. We're going to go out with a track. Actually,
I think we already played the Deco Boer track.
No, we're gonna go out with no. Okay. We're gonna end it right here. I'm getting the signals from our engineer, and I'm getting the signals to. We're just gonna wrap this up.
23 minutes over time, baby. Yeah, we need some time off.
I love it. I love it.
I want to say one last thing to the fans that are out there, and I got to tell you, one of the things that I've been doing since lockdown, every single customer service email that comes in to Ropeadope gets answered by me. It's not my job description. My official title is CEO, but I've been answering every single email and I've been packing every single order. And I got to tell you, kids, I fucking love it. Okay. Because that's the flip side of what it is. It's wonderful to go hang in the green room and hang out with the artists, but it's really cool to talk to people like I'm gonna throw up Chip Sandage from Pittsburgh, PA, as like one of the top supporters of Ropeadope. He buys every CD and is like completely thankful. And we throw something extra in the package every chance we get. He's a wonderful dude. Like this is what we're seeing now in COVID is like the full connection. There's no division. The stage isn't up here. It's connected. So shout out to all the people who are supporting and who are buying these records. And a special shout out to the people. We've raised some prices because musicians need it right now. And people are like, okay, no problem. I like it. So thanks to the fans.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Be well.